Imagine a world where you could literally own your own country, a private island sculpted to resemble a real-world nation floating in the Persian Gulf under the desert sun. Dubai promised just that, a man-made archipelago called the world, where each island was a blank slate for billionaires. But what was once a $12 billion vision of paradise has today become something else entirely, silent, deteriorating, and largely forgotten. Before we uncover how one of the most extravagant real estate ventures ever attempted fell into eerie abandonment, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Real Estate Nightmares, where luxury meets disaster. Let's explore the sinking dream of the world islands. To understand how the world came to be, we have to rewind to the early 2000s. Dubai was exploding onto the global stage, fueled by oil revenues and an aggressive push to diversify its economy through tourism, luxury real estate, and finance. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai, envisioned turning the emirate into a futuristic hub, like Manhattan meets Las Vegas, dropped into the Middle East. His ambitions weren't subtle. He wanted the tallest buildings, the largest malls, and the most jaw-dropping engineering feats on the planet. Out of that mindset came the World Islands, a 300-island development arranged to mimic the Earth's continents when viewed from above. The idea was simple, yet outrageous. Create a literal world map out of sand and sell off each island to the ultra-rich. The marketing was slick. Investors were promised exclusivity, privacy, and prestige. Celebrities like Richard Branson and Brad Pitt were rumored to be interested. Plots were pitched as blank canvases where anything could be built. Private mansions, boutique resorts, entire self-sustaining micronations. The concept captured global imagination, but reality, as we'll see, had other plans. Constructing the world was an engineering feat almost too bold to believe. Nakheel Properties, the government-backed developer, dredged over 300 million cubic meters of sand from the seabed to form the islands. Rocks were shipped in from over 10 quarries to build breakwaters that would protect the archipelago. To shape the islands into recognizable continents, engineers used GPS-guided dredging systems with precision down to the meter. At one point, over 5,000 workers and 200 vessels were involved in the project. But even as the islands took shape, problems began to emerge. Problems tied to the very forces of nature they were trying to outsmart. Marine scientists raised alarms about disrupted tidal patterns, sediment displacement, and water stagnation between the islands. Without proper flow, the water surrounding the islands could become murky and lifeless. There were also reports of the islands slowly sinking, denied by Nakheel, but documented in independent assessments. Beyond nature, there was another issue: access. Unlike the nearby Palm Jumeirah, the world had no roads or bridges. Everything, construction materials, workers, utilities, had to be ferried in. This wasn't just inconvenient, it was unsustainable. And yet, buyers still lined up. At first, the islands were sold off quickly between 2003 and 2008. Around 60% of them were claimed, often by private investors or developers with grand visions. Want your own Greenland to build a ski-themed resort in the desert? Sure. Planning to turn India into a cultural wellness center? Go ahead. The pricing wasn't just symbolic, it was astronomical. Islands were listed anywhere from $15 to $50 million, depending on size and location. Some buyers came from real estate funds. Others were celebrities. A few islands were even bought as novelty gifts. One was rumored to be purchased as a wedding present. But most of these deals were speculative. Little to no development took place. In fact, only one island, owned by Sheikh Mohammed himself, was ever fully built on. Still, The idea that a man-made world existed offshore from Dubai was enough to keep headlines rolling, until the global economy turned. In 2008, the financial world imploded. Credit markets froze. Banks failed. Real estate collapsed. Dubai was hit particularly hard. Billions in international investments dried up almost overnight. Real estate values plunged. Construction stalled across the city, and the world stopped spinning. Nakheel, already billions in debt, halted development. Construction on individual islands ceased. Buyers defaulted. Planned resorts were abandoned before they began. A handful of islands were resold at fractions of their original price. Others were left entirely idle. By 2011, only a single island had any meaningful structure on it, Lebanon Island, converted into a small event space. It wasn't enough. As the crisis settled, the world remained frozen in time. A luxury map of Earth, crumbling under the weight of its own ambition. The aftermath of the crash led to a tangle of legal disputes and financial battles. Several investors sued Nakheel for failing to deliver on promised infrastructure, utilities, transportation, and permissions to build. Nakheel countered that it was not their responsibility to build on privately purchased islands. Worse, some plots were caught in bankruptcy proceedings. One UK investor who bought multiple islands died, leaving heirs fighting over ownership rights while the properties decayed in salt and sun. There was also an infamous case in 2010 when a report from Penguin Marine, a company licensed to transport materials to the islands, claimed the archipelago was eroding and sinking. Nakheel denied the report, but experts agreed. Without regular maintenance, such deterioration was inevitable. The courts got involved, development slowed even further, and the dream continued to rot. In recent years, there have been scattered efforts to revive the world, most notably a cluster of islands rebranded as the Heart of Europe. Developed by the Kleindienst Group, this six-island project includes themed resorts modeled after Monaco, Venice, and Sweden. The plan features floating villas, underwater bedrooms, and year-round rain and snow to simulate European weather in the Middle East. The marketing is heavy on fantasy, and while construction has resumed on some of these islands, progress remains patchy. Completion deadlines have been pushed repeatedly, and the majority of islands remain untouched. The biggest issue? Demand. Many of Dubai's mainland luxury projects already struggle with oversupply. Convincing ultra-wealthy buyers to choose a remote, man-made island with complicated access over a downtown penthouse or a palm villa, it's a hard sell, especially post-COVID. At its core, the world was never just a real estate project. It was a statement, a flex by a city trying to leap into the future faster than time would allow. But nature doesn't care about marketing campaigns or ambitious timelines. Without the right infrastructure, environmental engineering, and sustainable demand, the entire concept collapsed under its own weight. From a distance, the world islands still look beautiful, but close up, they're barren, sand shifting in the wind. Rusted docks, forgotten dreams. A perfect symbol of what happens when vision exceeds reality. So, what does the future hold? Dubai continues to push forward with other mega developments. It's home to the world's tallest tower, massive indoor ski resorts, and man-made lagoons. The city hasn't given up on spectacle, but it has grown more cautious. Some say the world will one day come back to life, revived by technological advances or a new wave of ultra-wealthy buyers. But many believe it will stay just the way it is, an unfinished map, best viewed from the air, where it still inspires wonder without delivering on its promises. And maybe that's the greatest irony. The world may never be livable, but as a symbol, it's eternal. Thanks for watching this episode of Real Estate Nightmares. If you found this story shocking, eye-opening, or just strangely fascinating. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new deep dive into the world's most infamous real estate disasters. Tell us in the comments, if you had the chance, would you build your dream home on a man-made island, or would you rather stay far, far away?